Hello everybody and welcome to this episode of Norwegian Datacenter TV. Today I'm also at Føyen's offices with a fantastic view behind me, and I also have a fantastic interview object with Siri Eidet coming from Vinje Industries. Vinje Industri is coming up initially from the oil and gas sector but has drifted into the data center sector. I'm going to talk to Siri today about how the rest of the supply chain can drift into the data center industry with great success. So let's kick this off. Good morning, Siri. Welcome to the show. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me, Björn.
You're so much welcome. So, Siri, before we dive into the topics, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself and the company you're representing, Vinje Industri?
I work as a sales and market manager with the onshore activities in Vinje Industri. I joined the company 4 years ago, coming from several years in the oil and gas industry. Vinje Industri itself has been around for 25 years and started off as serving mainly the offshore business. But when the downturn hit the offshore oil and gas market back in 2016, we saw the opportunity to also move into the onshore sector. And since then, we have been focusing on growing the activities within the Norwegian industry, the building of critical infrastructure, and also energy sector. And that's what led us actually to the data center industry back in 2017. And we saw that we could transfer a lot of our competency from the oil and gas to the data center industry, but we couldn't do it alone. So that's why we joined the NDI back in last year, actually.
Exactly. And we are so pleased to have you here because I think that you are bringing a lot of the culture from the oil and gas industry and the drive and also the experience with building critical infrastructure of scale. Which I think that I'm also dreaming on actually our plan that we should make a copy of the oil and gas success story in Norway for the data center industry, as the data center industry is the fastest growing industry across all markets. But having this perspective, now you have been a member, I think this summer it's your 1 year anniversary as a member. So that has given you a little bit time to see how prepared is the supplier chain in Norway, in your view, in terms of taking on the big, large-scale projects?
The competency with a lot of the excellent companies and the suppliers are excellent and would work very well with this industry. A lot of the members in the NDI are also coming from different industries, but they have the competency needed, I would say. But, however, there is a clear gap between the main contractors stepping up and take the full responsible coordination of building the real supply chain together. That's where I see the biggest challenge at the moment.
Yeah, I actually share that with you. That I'm also surprised that we don't see large Norwegian contractors stepping up. Although we have some few coming up, but what would it take to have the Norwegian contractors more engaged? Do we need to be more visible for them, or what's the reason in your view?
Well, I think we should be more visible for sure, and actually together we are planning an event at Fornebu June 17th, where we actually try to bring the whole industry together, and we will invite many players to kind of have a kick-off to try to bring everybody together to be able to build a strong and convincing supply chain.
And also, I think that it's also being visible for the contractors. We also need to be, as a supply chain, be more visible also to investors and to international clients.
Absolutely, we do. If we cannot be united as a strong, resilient group, it will be difficult to have the visibility and convince them to join. So in that matter, we have been discussing how the NDA can actually help us to be more visible and to support us in that. So how do you see that happen, Bjørn?
So, Siri, if you look at the pipeline for the data center industries over the coming years, I think we will see a constant growth from today to 2031 or to 2032. This is an open market, and this will be a mixture of different clients coming into the Norwegian markets, from smaller to really big scale, large scale projects. So I think that from NDI, it's really important to make the space for everybody. I think that the issue here is to how can we take the maximum potential of what's basically lying in the pipeline, and how can we establish a mix of companies and suppliers that basically can suit every project, because no projects are similar. So that means that we need to facilitate both from the political parties, from regulators and everything down to how to bring, in my perspective, I'm very eager to create a meeting space. So you can collaborate, you can, in some cases, you can be competitors, in others you can be partners, based on case by case, and who knows how this will evolve. But one thing that worries me, which I just need to address very shortly, is that we are still not being recognized as an industry. We are being recognized as a sector, and that really disqualifies us and makes us come into a little bit of a shady light from other, call it, industries like oil and gas and like the process and heavy industry. So that's on me to try to convince everybody, all the stakeholders, that these are real industries, these are real suppliers. And so that was a very long answer to a very short question, but I think that we need to work very hard to develop the supplier group within the association.
Yeah, and we definitely appreciate the work that you do. And for us as an industry to continue to build on what is already been done. We have companies in the association and in Norway doing large-scale projects already. And we do have suppliers also involved in several projects. But for us to have you facilitate all of these meeting spaces and the area for us to meet and to team up, because as you mentioned, the projects will be different because the clients will be different, the needs will be different, and we will need to understand that there will be possibilities for several different options. We can team up with one contractor, a group of suppliers, but then next time it will be another group and another possibility. So we need to be teamed up and work together. So we need to understand that we really got to know each other really well, so that we can grab all of these opportunities.
Yeah. Absolutely, because I think the ambition for the operators in Norway is to, and also on me, is to establish Norway as the home of the AI factory, so that we should build all the infrastructure, running all the growth and absorbing all the growth, and most of the growth that's coming on the European continent, because we have all these benefits that Mother Nature has given us in terms of very large amounts of renewable power. Of course, there's always trouble with the energy supply, but compared to the other Norwegian market, the other European markets, we are basically top-notch. So I think that we have great ambitions to fill, and I'm really happy to see how you are working together with the other suppliers to attract other parts of the industry that doesn't know about the data center industry. So I think that's one of the most important tasks me and you can do together, is to make this visible for other types of industries.
I completely agree. And we need to continue to build on the good references that we already have. and to be able to replicate from the oil and gas industry, from the building of Norwegian industry and all of the different sectors, we can benefit from the experience that the different companies have already and transfer that into this market. And for us to be able to actually be part of the digital export out of Norway, it could be a new era that we could actually be part of. So I believe that is it's a really good opportunity, and I think we need to grab it now because it's urgent that we team up. It takes time.
Yeah, absolutely. And basically, why should Norway be this international hub for AI? Yes, because I think it brings more value to us exporting photons through fiber optic cables as digital services rather than exporting electricity and electrons across the oceans. We need to think about value creation in every step, just not for the data centers per se, but also the underlying supply chain and the supplier industries. That's really my first thought of this.
I completely agree, and I think there are players already in this market, but we need to bring more main contractors as options to help them team up with the very competent suppliers and to build this together. And all of these main contractors in Norway, they have experience from building a whole lot of the critical infrastructure already. So for them to enter this shouldn't be a problem. And that's why I think we need to invite them and to include them in our conversations. So actually, that is what we are doing and plan for on the 17th of June, where we plan for a suppliers meeting at Fornebu to have actually everybody meet, team up and create the kind of kickoff for such discussions. That is something that we are doing together. So I look forward to that.
I would say, Siri, I very much look forward to that as well. And you, dear listener, do not hesitate to reach out if you're interested in taking part of this meeting. It's an all invitation. Everybody is invited if you're a member or what you'd like to understand more on the industry and the opportunity for you as a supplier. So please reach out and make sure that we'll send you an invitation to this meeting, which will take part in Fornebu right outside Oslo. Coming back to our conversation again, and I would also like to address the topic of preparedness, because I think that it's really important that it's actually a side effect that we get for free when you have a strong supply chain, that we actually can advertise that we are well prepared for people that are considering or thinking that we have a lack of, that the supply chain is maybe a little bit shaky in Norway.
I think I feel pretty confident when I say that the competency is here. It's more like teaming up for the different concepts, I would say. And as you mentioned, the preparedness, that's really key, because the operators, if they operate in Norway, they should be confident both about the competency of the suppliers, but also that we can serve them in the long term, because we need to address that we live in an uncertain world where the picture changes from day to day. It's an uncertain world with shifting alliances, with tariffs, and we never know what will happen. So if we don't have a supply chain ready to take part in this, there will be missing services in the future. And this being critical infrastructure, that is really key, I would say.
On the tail of that, I think that already now it's like some kind of a certification that you are a member of the Norwegian data center industry, that basically give you a very kind of a feeling of some kind of approval. But Do you think we should step that up a notch in terms of every investor or client coming to Norway, they can be sure that if they reach out to a member of the Norwegian data center industry, they are basically, call it certified, or are basically good to go according to Norwegian laws and rules and regulations?
Well, we have talked a little bit about this and have some kind of light certification, and I'm not sure, but it could be a way just to make sure that they feel confident, because as of today, many of them bring their own supply chain to Norway, and we miss out on those projects. So if we can at least figure a way that can build the confidence in what the Norwegian supply chain actually are capable of, I think that would be a good conversation to have. And also maybe to have the operator's perspective on this, on how they see that. Do they feel the need, or are they confident already? Something up for discussion, I would say.
So I hear from time to time that foreign companies coming into Norway are kind of surprised to see that the regulations that they are used to and follow in other European markets, they are not valid in Norway, and that goes for both for workforce, but it goes also for every topic they are in it's and electrical solutions or telecom solutions or whatever. What's your take on that?
I agree with you. I've experienced the same myself. So I think that could actually be one of our strengths from a Norwegian supply chain side, because we are already familiar with the regulatory framework, the weather conditions and all of the compliance in Norway. So that is our strength. And of course, we can work together with the foreign companies to help them understand, but at least that is an advantage that we have in Norway, that all of those companies coming from the different industries, they are familiar with that already. So I believe that is something to bring to the market.
Exactly, because that means that the onboarding people or companies from the oil and gas industry, for instance, to the data center industry, that should be relatively smooth, because you're already compliant to whatever you need to be compliant with. So it's just a matter of the specific onboarding from an oil and gas installation to a data center project.
Yeah, and our very strong focus on the HSE, the documentation and all of those things, I think it's directly transferable to this industry. And actually, I see a lot of the companies hiring people, former colleagues, into the data center industry. So we see that this is actually of relevance to the operators.
So Siri, the time is flying, so we are actually closing into the end of this conversation. But I would like you to come to a final call to action for the Norwegian data center industry and for all the stakeholders.
Yeah, it's been an interesting conversation, and I think that we have so much possibilities here with this market and with the competent supply chain already, but we do encourage more players to join us for sure, and we do see this as an huge opportunity for Norway and for the industry to join and to be part of this next big thing. So thank you, Bjørn, for making the possibilities and open the doors so that we can have good conversations with everyone, and to invite and include to make more business together. Because I think we all need to work together, and we must make sure that competitors and everybody works together if we're going to be a good option to the foreign companies.
Siri, I think that was a good call to action for the whole data center industry and for the society and all the stakeholders. But shouldn't we invite all the suppliers to come to the meeting on the 17th of June?
Absolutely, I agree with you, Björn. We should. And if you feel that you want to be part of this next possible adventure, please join us at Fornebu, June 17th. See you there.
Reach out to me or to Siri, and as always, a pleasure to have you here, Siri.
Thank you.
See you in the next one.